As we are going to learn about web application security, it is very important to understand about the concepts, the components that's involved in the web application, so that it will be helpful for us to learn the web application security very easily, right? So let's understand about web application. So first of all, what is web application? Okay. Unlike other computer-based application that runs in the local machine, in the local device, web application is application program that runs on the remote server, and the services are delivered to the client over the network, maybe internet or a intranet, based on the infrastructure, and it uses the browser interface as the interface, browser as the interface, right? So again, it's an client server architecture because the as we said in the previous point, the web application, it is running on the server, and the services are provided to the client, or the client is making use of the service that is running on the server. So it's an client server architecture. It contains three main component. One is web server, application server, and database server. So the web server is the actual server, the hardware where the application is running, and the application server is what the application, right? And database server is the backend of the web application. So basically, whenever there is an website or a web application we refer, there are three components involved. One is the actual server, the hardware, the web server we refer, and the application that is running on it, and the backend server, which we refer to the database server, where the contents are stored, right? Okay. And so as we said about the client server architecture earlier, so whenever a client want a service to be used in, which is running in the web server, make use of HTTP request, and the server will respond to the request using the HTTP reply. Okay, so basically the browser is the interface that acts between the client and the server, right? And HTTP is the protocol that governs the communication between browser and the web server. Means it is the protocol that governs the communication between the client and the server. So the next one is HTTP method. So this is very important because we'll be discussing more in detail about this in our upcoming videos also, because whenever we are performing any labs, we'll be going through all the steps, right? So there are many different methods available in HTTP, but 8 methods are very important. These 8 methods are the basic or commonly used methods. And when I say 8, all this 8 method is not used everywhere, but still these are the main 8 methods. Okay, by default, HTTP uses ASM. In ASM, 3 methods are allowed, and if we want to make use of other methods, then we need to explicitly add those methods to the ASM. Okay. So here in this session, let's understand about this method, and also maybe once we complete this PPT, let's get into our lab to understand about this method using the Fiddler tool. Okay, so the first method is get. So from the name itself, we can understand basically get is receive, right? So basically it is used to retrieve the information from the server with a given URI. Okay, say for example, if you're accessing any website, it uses get method to bring that home page uh, to your browser, right? Say for example, you're trying to purchase, and you're trying to do any online purchase something, maybe using Amazon. When you do amazon.com, this amazon.com homepage will be brought to your browser using get method. And if you are selecting any product on it, say for example you're choosing a laptop, okay, you're planning to purchase any laptop, and if you click that image, what happens if you click that product using the get method, you will be seeing the detailed information about the product as like the product landing page. Okay, so this get method is used to give you the retrieve the information from the server. Okay, and the next is head method. It is similar to get method, but here when you use get method, it transfers the status line and the headers only in the response. So this is the main difference between head and get. Okay, so other important method is post. Okay, so it's you might have used you'll be using it many ways, manywhere. Okay, say for example, when you if a site has some authentication kind of a stuff, okay, in the home page or in the in the home page, you'll be giving a username and password, right? You will be giving a username and password, and you'll click submit. So once you click submit, your username and password is sent to the server for the authentication, right? So this is what post works. So post is basically information that is sent to the server. Using post method, whatever information you submit or you give, it is sent to the server. Okay, post method is used to send the information to the server. So yeah, maybe if you are filling any customer form, online customer form, or if you try to upload a file to a portal or any websites or whatever it is, right? If you're uploading a file also, it uses post method because that information is sent to the server. Okay, so next come put method. Put is similar to post, but there is a small difference. But thing is, it will replace the target resource. Say for example, if you are replacing something, if say for example there is an already there is a file and you are replacing a file with another file, then it is using put method. Or already there is an information available in the server and you are giving a new information to replace this information, the new information with the new information is using put method. So basically the difference between put and the post and put is post simply send the information to the server and it get added. However, put replaces the current representation of the target resources. Okay, so next comes to delete. So it's to delete a target resources. Say for example, already information is there in your web server, okay, and if you're deleting that content, it comes under the delete method. Using this method, the content in the web server will be deleted. Okay, so connect method. So it is used to establish an end-to-end encryption encrypted tunnel to the web server and to the the browser. And option, it describes about available options to the target resource. And trace is basically as like a network trace. It will give you the path to the target resources. So these are the different methods of HTTP. As I said earlier, it is not limited to it. There are different type of HTTP methods also available, but these are the main methods we'll be discussing. So the next one is HTTP header. Okay, so basically we have discussed this already, right? It's a client server architecture. So client and server shares an additional information about the body of the message during the transaction. So this is what header means. So it's an additional information that about the body of message, means about the body of the content. Okay, so this is what HTTP header refers to, and there are four types of a header on a very high level. Okay, one is general header, request header, response header, and entity header. So general header is basically general informations like a date, time, kind of a stuff. And when it comes to header, request header, it is between client to the server. Okay, maybe we will discuss about it in the next slide also in detail along with an example headers. And a response header is what sent from server as a response to client. Okay, and entity header is a common information is like what is the language that is allowed and encoding method, expiring date. So these kind of informations will be available in the entity header. Let's discuss about this in one by one. Okay, so this is the request header. As I said earlier, this type of a header will be sent from your client to web server. Okay, so request headers will be seen. Request header is the header which will be seen in the request packet that is sent from client to the server. So this is the sample header that's captured. Okay, so we discussed earlier about methods, right? If you see, it uses get method. So what it is saying, this is the host, right? Testsample.com is the host, the destination. In that website, it is asking for the home page, home.html. So it is asking for the home page, and it tells that it is using HTTP version 1.1. Okay, and it also talks about user agent, means client's browser. So what is the browser this client is using? So as per this header, client is using Mozilla Firefox. uh, this is the version, so what OS is using. So all the stuff will be available here, the machine OS, everything will be here. And so what is we talked about the language, right? So what language it is used, and encoding methods, and to which destination it is it refers to testsample.com, right? And connection is another header which is available here. And after 1.1, means from 1.1, HTTP 1.1, connection method is available. It's basically to keep the connection alive, keep alive, right? uh, Previous to 1.1, means in 1.0 you'll not see this header, connection header, as like keep alive. Okay, if we want to do it, then explicitly we need to add it. Okay, so basically why we need to use, because to use multiple HTTP packet within same TCP communication. Say for example, if there is a TCP communication between the client and the server, right? Once the three-way handshake is successful, with that TCP connection, a client, there can be a multiple of HTTP connection between the client and the server. So that's the reason we are using connection header. And also it has the information about the cookie. So this is what request header is, and it is available when a client sends the packet to the server, request to the server. So response header, it is basically from, so in the previous one, in the request header, we saw about client to server, right? It is a response traffic from response from the server to the client. So that's the reason it is named as response header. Okay, and here also you'll see what type of HTTP version you are using. So it is saying that it is 1.1, and it has a response code. So this is called response code. We'll discuss about it, and the status of it. And as we discussed earlier, it will tell about the date, time, everything. And the server, what server it is using. It is using Apache Win32, and last modified information, content length, and content type, is it a text or whatever it is. All this information will be available here. And a response code, okay, it's very important. You'll be always seeing that response code in the response header from the server. Okay, there are on a very high level, there are five types, means five series. Okay, one series, 100 series, 200 series, 300 series, 400 series, and 500 series. So 100 series, basically it's an informational message. It means that a request was received and process is continuing. Okay, and 200 means it is successful. So it says that the transaction is successful. Okay, it successfully received it and it understood what the request is. Okay, so this is what the server is. The server is basically confirming to the client that your request is acceptable, or your request, I understand your request and I processed it. Okay, and you'll be seeing 300 wherever if there is a redirection. If there is a redirection in the website, then you'll be seeing 300. And if there is any client side error, means if there is any error in the client request, then you will be seeing the 400 series, as like if you see, you might have seen earlier, right, in some other cases as well. 400 bad request, 401 is unauthorized, and 404 not found. So this one. And 500 series is basically an, actually 400 series is a client side error, and 500 series is server side error. Okay, it means that the server failed to fulfill an apparent valid request. So the server failed to fulfill the request. So this is what it says. So it's very important to understand about this response code, because we'll be analyzing the packets, we'll be analyzing the traffics using this codes and all. Okay, so please make sure that you are aware about it. So components of a web URL. Okay, so say for example, you take any URL, it has a multiple components. So I'm just considering this URL. Okay, so it has multiple things. One is protocol, hostname, path, query, and parameter. So protocol specifies what kind of a protocol it is using. Is it an HTTP or HTTPS, what it is, FTP or what it is. So if we say here, this is what protocol is. So protocol comes first. Okay, so it tells about the what kind of a protocol you're using. Then it comes host name. Okay, following to protocol, you'll be seeing host name. So this is called as host name, your actual domain name. So if you see, host name is the domain name of the resource. Okay, path. So next to the domain name, whatever you're seeing here, right? It is path. Okay, it specifies the path or the file name of the required resources on the web server. It tells where the required resources is available within the web server. Okay, and this one, the question mark is referred to query. Okay, and this one is referred to parameter. Whatever comes after query is referred as parameter. So parameter is generally a value. Okay, comes and it comes after the question mark, a query. Okay, so now let's discuss about this in our lab also. So I'm using a new auction server. So I'm using this auction server. We are going to use this auction server for entire this WAF course. Okay. If you see here, I have configured the IP for this web server. Actually, this is a web server where we are going to perform all the attacks, and we are going to mitigate those attacks for this web server. Okay, I have configured IP 10.10.10.50 for it, and okay, 10.10.10.50 for it. It's a /24, and I have given the gateway as the self IP of the FI. Okay, so maybe I'm not going to show you the FI configurations now. Let's discuss about it in the upcoming videos. But in this video, we're going to see about the web components and the web application components, right? The about HTTP methods and so on. So I have given IP address, right? So for a DNS entry, for a local DNS entry in this local machine, I have added in C colon under C colon in Windows should come to system32 here drivers and here etc, and you'll be seeing a file name in the name as hosts, right? So if you want to have any local DNS entry, you can have it here. If you see, I can show you. See, I added this IP address as like 10.10.10.50, and I given the domain name as like auction.fidemo.com. So there is no as like auction.fidemo.com. So for local reservation, to resolve locally, I have added this IP, the private IP, and I have given this domain name, so that whenever I am giving this particular domain name going forward in my web browser, it will access to my the web server which I have added in the VM. Okay. Fine. So let me open the web browser, and here let me auction.fidemo.com. See, this is the web server we are going to use for our ASM. Okay, and I'm going to use an other tool known as Fiddler. Okay, so this is the tool. Maybe we can discuss about this tool in our upcoming videos also, because we are going to use it in many ways. So let's understand about this tool later. So now we'll see about HTTP headers. Okay, so say for example, okay, maybe I can show here. Okay, maybe first we opened that auction website and then only we used to Fiddler, right? Say for example, if I'm clicking home, okay, if you see here, as soon as I click home, it shows me that index.php, right? If we see the Fiddler tool now, it by using the get method, it gets index.php. Means to show us this home page, which is available in index.php, it get it from there. Okay, sure, we can see it. See, uh, if you see, it's a request header, okay, and if you see here, using get method, it uses index.php, and it used the version http 1.1, okay, and maybe if I go to sell an item, okay, this is another page, right? Other page within the same web server. So here where I'm in the other page of this website, web server, where I can sell an item, okay, and if you see the extension also here, it is as like sell.php, okay. So if you see, it will be coming here. See, using the get method, what it gets the sell.php page to show me, okay. So as we said earlier, get method is to retrieve the information from the server. So uh, using get method, it retrieved the page cell.php and it shows to us. And if I click register now, if you see, using get method, register.php will be shown. See, so this is what get method is doing. Get method is basically retrieving the information from the web server, okay. It may be retrieving a web page or whatever it is, okay. And now let's see about put method. So put is something, as we said earlier, sending the informations or sending the data to the server, right? So I already created some a few username and password, okay. Maybe I'll use any one of it to log in. Student 2, okay. I give student 2 as the username and password as password. I submit it, go. So once I give my username as student and password as password, what happens? Let's see in the Fiddler tool. If we see here, using using a put method, okay. If you see here, sorry, it's not a put method, it's a post method, right? So when I say post method, it used to send the information to the server, right? By mistake I said put method. Put is basically used to replace the information with the target resource, right? uh, so if you see here in the post method, okay, in post, using a post method, the information whatever we have given, means the username and password we given, right, it's submitted to the backend server and get it authenticated, okay. And maybe we can check here also. Okay, see, if you see here, whatever the information we gave, it is here, okay. So this is what post method is. Post is basically sending the information to the server also. Okay, so now I'm within this account, student 2 account, okay, and I'm going to see my control panel, okay. I'm just clicking it. So what happens if I click the control panel? It's getting the control panel page, right, and it's showing to me. So let's see again. See, it's getting that page and showing to me. So this is what again get used to do it. So this is how it is, okay. I'm not getting into all methods. You can also try it. So this is what the request header is, okay. We talked about request header and a response header, right? So this is what a request header is. If you see here, the client information, as we said earlier and as we discussed in the sample, it gives you all the information as like what kind of user agent you're using, is that English. So all those informations will be available here. So we see the keep alive, it is there, keep alive is there. Why? Because I'm using HTTP 1.1. Okay, and this is a response body. This is a response header. Means this is the response which is received from the actually this is a kind of a tool which is capturing. Okay, so here I'm seeing the captures from client to server, so that it's mentioned as a request header, and here it is about the response header. Means the information which is sent from server to the client is captured here. Okay, so it says 200, right? Because we asked for a particular page, and server understood it and sent it. The transaction is completed, so that it is giving us like 200. And it talks about the HTTP version we are using and all those stuffs. Okay.